Oh,
Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Nickin' It pop-up show with your host, Stephanie, aka Queen, and Ajay the Villain. How you doing?
Queen, good evening. How are you? So I'm
I'm
doing
good.
good. I'm doing great. Always good to talk about the Knicks. Win or lose, good time or bad time. That's our team. We like to talk about them. So yeah,
Sure.
let's get something going here.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump right into it. And we talked about this on the Queen's Court yesterday on Nothing But Nick. Shout out to Sim. Memphis was a formidable opponent, right? So I just want to read off a few of the stats coming into the game last night. They were top 5 in offensive rating, defensive rating, and net rating. I mean, defensive rating, they were 6, but offensive rating, they were 4, net rating, they were 4. Opponent field goal percentage, third in the league in terms of their defense and teams not shooting well against them. Opponent three-point percentage, fifth. Fast break points, third. Points in the paint, second. Points off turnover, third. They're 30, they were 31 and 15 coming into last night's game, third in the Western Conference, 8-2 over their past 10 games, and on a 6-game winning streak. So not only are they a good team overall, they were coming in hot, right? And then we have the Knicks, who, listen, throughout the course of the season, they've been up and down. They have a good win, like against Denver. We think like, wow, they really righting the ship pretty quick. And then boom, Utah, they look the exact opposite. But slowly but surely, I've been seeing some improvement. That Atlanta win, right? Struggled against Brooklyn, but I thought the Atlanta win was a solid win. Sacramento was another team that came in hot. I think they were 9-1 over their last 10, if I'm not mistaken. And the Knicks didn't just win against Sacramento, they blew them out. The Knicks didn't just win against this hot Memphis team, they blew them out. Yeah, talk to me about what you've seen from the Knicks last night and just overall over the past week or so. Shout out to the chat, David L. Bayer. He said he was here first. Those
Yeah.
notifications are getting through. Appreciate you, Wonder Woman, Rodney, Building Blocks, Born Freedom. JJ.
JJ
I
always rocking
really
with
want
us.
to hear from you, JJ, because I know,
Yeah, we should JJ should call tonight, man.
yeah, yeah, and oh, and Boogie,
J Book.
you know what, Boogie, I will send the link again. It is a forever link, but I will put it in the chat again. But yes, go ahead, AJ.
So what we're witnessing is um the the gelling, the chemistry of this team starting to pick up. They
Mhm.
starting to understand each other. They starting to know what each player does on the team, and they're starting to put it together. And we knew that was going to take time, and it's still going to take time. It's still not there yet, but it's starting to take shape to see what it is that we're going to do. What it is that it's going to be in the end, right? Um, Going into last night's game, and when I think we had this show on Thursday, right? Last week Thursday. So I felt Memphis was the toughest matchup for us
So did I.
because I mean they don't. I mean their size is weird. Like they have like up front they have two big guys, right? I think they have Jaren Jackson Jr. playing the
Power
four,
forward. Yep.
and you have Edie playing the five. So side they up, and then the guards in the back that are not big in terms of tall, they're quick. And they're either quick or strong. Like Baines is a strong dude, man. He's
Hmm.
so it's it. I thought the matchups would not favor us in terms of the size of what they had on the court, but like I said, I think I posted that on NBK where you was doing the show yesterday.
Hmm.
If we um if we try to milk our mismatches, right? If we try to take advantage of them, we're gonna be fine.
Right.
Okay. And we did that all over the place. Okay. one such mismatch is um, Mikal Bridges versus Ja Morant. Okay, on both ends, because you realize going back on offense, they didn't know what to do with him. Like Memphis didn't know like who to put on him
Mhm.
because they had because they wanted to put a big guy on Bronson. That's what every team's been doing.
Right.
But then you really had to kind of throw Ja Morant on him, and then
Mhm.
I don't know. It was a little bit of confusion on their part, like they
Mhm.
didn't know what they were doing on defense.
I
With
mean, they may have known, but who you're gonna put? You're gonna put Bane on. Like you have to choose. That's
Right,
what's making this team kind of special. Is particularly if OG is on and Bridges is on. There's nobody to hide. Like you can't hide anybody
right,
on a particular play on the Knicks.
right. So listen, it was a good win. Um, Memphis is not. Don't expect to blow them out the next time we play them, but it was a tremendous win. But and I want to. I mean, all over the place here. I want to mention something I said to you, Queen. The Tibbs extending his rotation,
Mhm.
I think, is a direct result of the last couple of games we've seen is a direct result of that. Okay, he's playing 9 guys now, like
Mhm.
pretty good minutes. Um, so that means that there are a few guys who don't have like it makes it different. And I'm not with the minutes
I'm not
police.
saying that
I
it.
don't care.
I'm not. I mean, you're saying it like I disagree with
Oh
you. I
no
don't.
no no
I
no
don't
no
disagree.
not at all. You agree with
No.
me when I
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
that. You said when I text you that
Yeah.
yesterday. You said, oh yeah, definitely. You could see the
Definitely.
difference. There's no
And
let
the three
down,
days off that they had.
and the 3 days off exactly.
Yeah.
So if
Absolutely.
that's not an indication that these guys were tired, they were exhausted, I don't know what is. A combination of the extended rotation and the 3 days off, and these guys are playing better. Okay,
Right.
and you're gonna have like Memphis is gonna have run. The opposing team's gonna have runs, but at the end of the day, in the fourth quarter, these guys, their shots are not gonna be short because they're gonna have their legs under them.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, listen. There's no way to know 100%. But yeah, they definitely look fresher. They're more active, on defense. There's
Yeah,
no way to tell had we went to, you know, earlier in the season, we would have got the same results, right? We might have been dealing with chemistry issues and other stuff.
right.
You know, Thibodeau now has gained some trust in these guys. Because listen, this is not, in my opinion, Thibodeau listening to the fans and saying, "Oh, the fans must be right.
Uh,
Let me go to a 9-man rotation."
I disagree. I think he watched these shows.
Okay,
I
all
think
right,
he probably watching us right now.
maybe. I think he went to a 9-man rotation when he felt comfortable that the players, can produce. Shamit was on the bench for a few games,
Right.
before he went back to. So listen, I don't know all that went into his decision. I think it helps that when the guys get on the court, they produce. And I think for a Tom Thibodeau coach team,
Hmm.
you when you get out there, you have to produce. Now, produce doesn't necessarily mean score points, but you have to have some positive impact. And the bench is coming along. You know, 50 what was it 50 or 52 points last night from the bench. Some of it in garbage time, right? Shamit's 6 points or 9 points came in garbage time, but the other points were legit. And I'm trying to see. I mean, I'm looking at the minutes. You know, Precious played 20 minutes. McBride played 23 minutes. Landry played 12 minutes. Campaign played 17 minutes. You know what I want to see? I want to see in a tight game what the minutes distribution is, not just a blowout. Same thing with Sacramento. So, you know, is Thibodeau committed to these 9 players at these minutes, no matter what? Right? It's easier when you're blowing a team out to extend minutes. not so much when the game, when the game is tight. So, we'll see. Sacramento was a blowout. This game was a blowout. Let's see what the minutes distribution is in a tighter game. So in other words, let's see if this continues.
I hope it does, because it clearly makes a difference. And the best way to really um, enforce it, to really find out for sure, is to do it a couple more times. Okay, and exactly like you said, when we in a tight situation, when we're in a tight game, like, and then in the back and forth, put some of those guys, show your trust in those guys. I mean, these guys are produced, man. And
It's a tough. Go ahead, finish.
no, you're right, it's a tough thing with Tibbs, but
It's a tough. No, I think it's tough with a lot of coaches. I think we see some coaches who are committed. Listen, every coach has their philosophy, right? There's some coaches who will go 10 no matter what. Indiana coach, the OKC coach. Every coach is allowed to have their philosophy, right? The Tibbs philosophy is he likes to play his guys, right? They're not his main guys, extended minutes. But this is another thing I'll say. To me, this is the way it should be. When you're playing really good teams, your best players should play more minutes. When you're playing teams where they're not that great, or the team is not playing, the opposition is not playing, this is when you can bring your starters minutes down. When there's a blowout, this is when you can bring your starters minutes down. In these tough games, what that's nail biter games, the bench minutes might shrink a little bit. I think that's okay. What we haven't been seeing that. What we've been seeing is, no matter the situation, no matter if it's a close game, no matter if it's a blowout, no matter if we can comfortably leave a bench player in for a few more minutes, like, it just wasn't happening at all, right? So now I'm hoping there's enough trust that, in blowout games, in games that aren't that tight, the bench get more minutes. Your best players, look at the tight games in this league. Even OKC, look at the tight games. Your best players are going to play more minutes in those games. That's just how it is. You leave somebody in there for 5-10 minutes, that you might not get back in the game. But like I said, and I'm saying it over and over, I'm hoping what we're seeing is, on these not so close games, blowouts, or when it's not like down to the possession, that our bench gets more time.
Well, and I want to add to that, like, and I think that's one of the things we've been screaming about, like, some of us here in the fan base, is even in those tight games, right? Because you're gonna put the bench for a couple of minutes regardless, right? But you have to adjust to the game at the moment, right? A couple of games ago, I don't remember which game. Campaign came in there for a couple of minutes, and then he was on fire. This is when you have to adjust and listen, even if it was a tight game, even if it was a tough game or playoff game, but just leave him there another couple of minutes until he cools off, and then take him. You know what I'm saying? So you have to adjust to the moment, and this is what we've been asking. Hopefully, he does that. I think he will. I think he's just trying it. Hey, I know you know.
Because listen, Thibodeau is Thibodeau. This is Thibodeau, and what we may say as him not adjusting could just be him sticking to his philosophy that he has the right to. Thibodeau is Thibodeau, right? He's going to do. I'm not going to say Thibodeau doesn't adjust. He's consistent with his philosophy, and I feel like this is something that's kind of talked about, in my opinion, too much in the Knicks community. Thibodeau has been here for 4 years now. Or is this his 5th year? This is 4th year, right? 4th or 5th year.
Yeah.
We know who he is. We know what his philosophy is. He plays his guys most minutes. We don't have to like it. We don't have to agree with it. This is his philosophy. right? The OKC coach has his philosophy. Steve Kerr, he goes back and forth between tight. Now his rotation is really extended because of the age of Curry. I just feel like we spend so much time on Tom Thibodeau. This is who he is. This is Tips. This is how the rotation is going to be. Period. Right? I'm happy that to me, it's more about the bench showing something when they're in the game. And I get it. The flip side of that is, oh, you got to give them more minutes so that they can show. I get it. I get it. I get it.
And the players have to stay ready also. They know that. And there are a couple of guys that like consistently play better when they get more minutes. Deuce and Precious, because we've seen that last season. I mean, when you keep those guys on the floor for an extended period of time, they produce. Campaign, he's new, but he's on and off. Like, but when he's hot, he's hot. So yeah, I mean, it like you said, it's his philosophy. Maybe I don't know. Like either
But
way,
extended minutes for what? Like for Deuce, fine. I think Deuce is a 25 minute a game guy, bench player. But when I just think there's a fine line between how much you're extending minutes. Because yes, you do want to keep your guys fresh, but at the same time, there is a drop off between the starters and the bench. So you want to extend their minutes 2-3 minutes, get your guys a little rest. But Precious to me is not a 25-minute a game player on this team, because if he's playing 25 minutes, then that means Josh Hart is playing maybe 32 and Bridges is playing 32. And I'm not willing to significantly reduce those guys' minutes so Precious can get 25. He's not, he I don't care how much he produces. He's not going to produce at the level of those guys with more minutes.
He's not necessarily taken from those guys, because sometimes like there are three guys he could take minutes from, like, or because he also plays when Cat is out. He plays the big guy, the big man when Cat's out. So there's a few minutes for him to grab. But listen, like you said,
there is, but not 25.
Yeah,
not 25. Yeah, I mean, he could get a few minutes behind Cat. He might get 2 minutes for Josh, 2 minutes here too, but it's not 20. It's not 25 minutes. So I just think there's a little more nuance with this bench thing. Like kind of when I'm listening to the fans, what I'm hearing is, oh, just play the bench, rest our starters, come what may. We need to be fresh for the playoffs. Like, okay, I think there's a little more nuance to that. Number one, if you're a coach, this is a cutthroat league, period, point blank.
Right.
If you're not winning, you on your way out the door and you win with your best players. Now, I'm not saying you sacrifice your best players to get the win, but you got to play to win. Number two, seeding matters. How many games you win, what your seed is, that matters. And the Knicks are not good enough to just be like, you know what? We're limiting our starters' minutes to 35. Come what may. No. But I agree with the sentiment of game by game basis. There's times when you can increase the bench minutes, and there's going to be times when the benches. When we play Boston, if it's a tight game, Campaign ain't getting 12 minutes. He's just not. You're going to need Brunson in there for a game like that.
True.
Bridges is playing 38 minutes against Boston. We're not coming with Precious Achua for 20 minutes. No. But like I said, with Thibodeau, there isn't that up and down based on the game. It's just, this is how we're deploying the roster, period. And I would like to see more of, this is a game where they can play more. You understand? Am I making sense?
No, yeah, I hear you, and I
hear
understand.
I hear you.
I don't disagree. I understand that's his philosophy. I get it. I just would like to see, that's just, and every fan, every person, we all have our own, different things we'd like to see. But in the end, it's up to him to make the decision to try new stuff out, to try different rotation. I'm just happy that we have a real 9-man rotation. You know what I'm saying? Because and it's still limited because Shamet. I don't know how many minutes Shamet got yesterday, but I did. I'm not looking at the stats, but I did see him on the court.
Yeah, Shamet got 11 minutes and 41 seconds.
Okay.
Again, would that have been the case if this was a close game? So we're gonna know better when we have some close. I expect the minutes to go down a little bit if they're a close game, but let's see. Let's see. The past few games, we've been seeing a lot of the 4 bench players in with 1 starter. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Let me ask you something though. When Mitch come back, who's he ain't playing more than 9 tips. Okay, who's getting dropped?
Probably be one of the guards. It might be Shamet.
Shamet. I think it's Shamet.
It might be Shamet. This is going to be a tough one.
And you know what's even going to be even
what
tougher?
If Precious? What if he decides that Mitch's role is going to be like Precious plays with Cat, Precious plays behind Cat. What if that's what he's going to do? Like Mitch is now going to play behind Cat and with Cat.
Right. So, and I think Shamet's minutes are going to, because he's still going to have Precious play either behind Cat or behind or as the backup 4.
Like that's what I'm trying to say. So you think? I mean, that's a 10-man rotation. So if you're saying that Mitchell Robinson minutes is going to be only behind Towns and Precious minutes is only going to be behind OG, that's a 10 man. That's a 10-man rotation because Precious is not a 3.
No, he's dropping Shamet. Shamet drops. So off the bench, he's gonna have Deuce, Precious.
So you're gonna play Precious and Mitch together.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's gonna have Campaign, Deuce, Precious, and Mitch as the other 4. That's what I think.
And then play a wing starter.
Play a wing, correct? Like either Mikal Bridges or Josh Hart.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not. Listen, we'll see with Mitch. Like I don't even want to spend a lot of time with Mitchell Robinson. We'll see. What about the defense last night? And what about you know what? Get to some of the chat comments.
Some of the chats. Yeah, there's a couple of him I highlighted. We go through them real quick. Shout out to Old Head says Tibbs will go 10 when Mitch come back. I agree, Queen. He was letting starters build their chemistry. I don't think he's gonna go 10. That's just I don't think he's ever done that in his career.
Yeah, I wouldn't go 10 either. Because when you go 10, you're reducing the minutes of your best players to go 10. Why would you do that? Yeah. Right? I mean, 36 minutes, if you're an NBA player, you should be able to play 36, 37 minutes. You go 10, now you got players playing 34, 35 minutes. We're not at our best if our best players are playing 34, 35 minutes. 9 is enough.
All right. So shout out to Old Head. Thank you for that. Parrish Duggar said, we turned the corner if Tibbs recognized how much better we are arrested. We are different when at maximum effort.
For sure.
For sure. That to me, that's evident. It shows at least the last couple of games when we've had fresher legs. You can see the performance. You can see the guys. You can see the energy on both ends of the court. Like the defense has been pretty good too when those guys are well rested.
Yeah.
We have IKBM says we went a month without having 2 days off. When we get multiple days, we get practice, and with practices, Tibbs gains trust and adds new wrinkles. Yeah, maybe you're right. Like and well, I mean, there's a couple of days. There's a stretch of days off they went. Josh Hart said they didn't practice either. So,
Right. I
but
mean that's the whole thing also about rest too. On your days off, not practicing hard. So that's the catch 22. But still, multiple days you do get a chance to institute things, even if you're not going full speed.
yeah. And shout out to IKBM. Thank you for that. Curtis D. Young says, and that's when we talk about Tibbs' philosophy. He said, but should Tibbs' philosophy be so limited, or can it be open to growth?
But growth to what?
Not growth.
This
I,
is-
but
to
but
me,
it wouldn't be growth. It would be change. Should be open to change.
why?
No, listen.
Why?
He has changed some of his ways, Queen. There are things
Same Thibodeau. What has he changed?
that he's changed certain things.
Like what? Because open to growth. What growth to? This is what I think you should do, Tibbs. So you're gonna grow when you do it the way I think you should do it. That's growth. Every coaches are allowed their philosophy.
Right.
I don't really see what has changed. Okay. I see more now. If a player is hot, he's more likely to leave them in the game now than his first 2 seasons. All right. I mean, if that's what you consider growth, okay. I haven't like what have we seen? The thing with us as Knicks fans, when the Knicks are winning, Tom Thibodeau is changing and he's making all these rotation changes. He's making all these adjustments. The Knicks are on a losing streak. Thibodeau's the same Thibodeau. He's not making any adjustments. So how we see Thibodeau changes based on whether we're winning or losing. He's the same Thibodeau. They're the same Thibodeau.
Thanks. Thank you, Curtis D. Young, for that one. Nostalgic Nick, shout out to Nostalgic Nick. He says, shout out to the Men's Police. We made Tibbs use the bench, and I agree. I think we did.
Oh.
I think he watched the shows. I think he listens to the Queen. I know you can laugh all you want. I think listen. One day in one of those press conferences, he's gonna slip. He's gonna say like one of those. He's gonna name drop one of those podcasts, and we'll be like, "See, he does pay attention." I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody says an occasional zone defense. If that's not your philosophy as a coach, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, he's never done that.
He's not a zone defense guy, so he's not going to do it.
Yeah. Keith Turner says, I think Mitchell Robinson won't even be here. We're making another trade. I wouldn't be surprised. You don't know what the front office is going to do. When is the trade deadline? Is that like in a week or so?
I want to say February 6th.
Oh.
I see you, Trey. We're just going to finish the chats.
What's that? Yeah, just 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
JJ, shout out to JJ, always rocking with us. It says Precious is too good and versatile, too defensively to be taken out of rotation.
And you know what? We'll get into Mitch later. We're going to talk about the defense later. The Knicks defense, if this is what it's going to look like,
we're climbing up but his defense was really good yesterday. He was very active. He's, the thing is, those guys, and a lot of our guys can play defense as long as they're not foul trouble. Mm-hmm. If they allow them to be aggressive, they could be pretty good on defense. Jerrell, why are you not on here, Jerrell? Why are you not?
Well, said he got an hour and a half for the Dope Soul family a week. An hour and a half. That's all I got. I respect that.
All right, shout out to the chat, man. Let's you could bring in Trey, I guess. Let me take this out. Hold on. Take this out.
Maybe I'll go in the middle. See how that works. All right. How you doing, Trey?
Doing great, fam. What's going on? What's going on? Decided let me pop in here for a few minutes. I just ended our show earlier, about a few minutes ago. Just decided to come on, and I I see you guys are talking about the Knicks and some of their moves in last night's game over the Grizzlies. I thought this was a good test for us. The Grizzlies are one of those, teams out west that are, been playing pretty well as of late. And, for us to hold Ja Morant to just 15 points, I think he just, scored in that game. That was huge. That was a great win by the Knicks, and just kind of see them go deep in the bench as well. Love seeing that. The question is how often are we going to see that moving forward?
Right. Yeah. We were just talking about that. We saw
Why are you guys calling it a great win, a great game? Listen, it was a total demolition. Complete demolition. It wasn't a game. There was no game. It was just this. We beat the hell. Yeah. Total domination. Why did I say Queen? Total domination, complete demolition.
Yeah. I think we're getting a glimpse of what the Knicks can be. And I think offensively, we've already had that. Like, there's been games where you're like this offense is smoking, isn't it? And a lot of times it hadn't even been firing on all cylinders, but you could kind of get a glimpse of the ceiling of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
The past few games, you kind of got, I'm not going to say a glimpse of the ceiling of the defense, but you got a sense that this team can play defense. Right, you got a sense that this team can be a better defensive team than we've seen, and part of that is being rested. Right, they had 3 days off before playing Sacramento. I'm sure that helped with recovery, and then the bench in these two games have been extended. Now, were they extended because it was a blowout? Is this something we're going to continue to see? It remains to be seen. But what have you two seen defensively from the Knicks these past few games? And do you think it's something that can continue? Trey, we'll start with you. Then Andrew.
I think for me, they're active with their hands. And look, I know the Grizzlies, they turned it over at an alarming rate last night, but I think just seeing the Knicks and OG and guys like Mikal with the hands, and I think just having the awareness with, being able to strip the ball, being able to get those loose balls is something that caught my attention. Now, will it continue? I don't know that it's going to continue on a consistent basis per se, because you're facing different teams, different offenses, different players of different skill sets than the Grizzlies are. But like you said, I think this is sort of what to imagine as we kind of move into the season, into the playoffs. Boston don't look great right now. They lost on the last second shot to the Rockets last night. I like my chances. They are. They are. They are.
Would pull that out.
And Ime wanted to get that one. You could kind of tell he wanted to get that against his old team and what they did to him. But I feel like the Knicks I feel like they will position themselves, later in the year when, the seeding really starts to matter. But as far as defense goes, I like that, we're getting active with our hands and, having the ability to take the ball away.
Yeah, 20 steals last night.
Yeah. I don't know if you're gonna get 20 steals, consistently like that. No. Not consistently. That's an aberration, if you ask me.
Right. I think, listen, teams have bad games. Memphis had a bad game. The Knicks had something to do with it, and the Knicks had a great game. I don't take this to mean that the Knicks are going to play like this every night. Right. But it was a good win. It was a signature win. And for me, I look for trends. Like I'm looking at the bench trending. I'm looking at the defense. Can the defense, get better? Like those are the things that I'm looking at. The Knicks are not going to play at this level every single game. But Ajay, what did you think about the Knicks defensively? And what do you think can continue?
So, I mean, aside from the fact that they, we talked about them being well rested, and somebody in the chat mentioned during this homestand they don't have to travel, so
Right.
more time to recover, more recovery time and less hustle and bustle and getting to the airport and blah blah blah. So that helps, and because defense, there's a lot of it is energy and activity and willingness, not so much talent, but you got to be willing to put in the effort. And if you have the energy, you're more likely to put in the effort, and that's what we're seeing. So that's going to continue, I think, depending on what our schedule is and depending on the minutes those guys play. And you see, when those guys are tired, they don't make the effort on defense.
Right.
It's human nature, right? The game is sexier when the guys score, and I don't care what people tell you, everybody wants to score. So if they want to save a little energy, they're gonna save it for offense and not on defense. They'll play defense because they have to, but everybody just want to score. Everybody want to run up their points. So listen, it depends on the schedule. It depends on how it works out. It can be sustained because obviously, and hey, remember last season after the All-Star break, there was this thing about the NBA, letting the guys play, be a little more physical. If they do that this year, we're going to be in great shape, because if they're not calling those silly fouls against the Knicks, we're going to be a very good defensive team, man. These guys, they play, they clumsy. They commit a lot of fouls, like, because they calling a lot of ticky-tack fouls. But if they all of a sudden stop calling those fouls, that plays right into our hands. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think we could go up the rankings when it comes to in defense.
Another thing is, even let's just say we don't. There's a few games. Last night was one of them where you saw what the Knicks can do defensively. It's possible that in the playoffs the defense turns up as well, because you understand that the margins are slim.
Yeah, game goes. It slows down too. The game slows down when you get into that part of the season.
Right. And we have willing defenders. So like when I see these games, I'm like, okay, maybe once the playoffs start, they can. I'm not saying I want them to wait for the playoffs, but you see the defensive possibility that can come through in the playoffs, as opposed to having a team where even if you look and you squint, you're like, I don't think this team can play, defense. I think the Knicks can be better defensively, and I think they can be better in the playoffs. Shout out to X Production. You right on time. It's all right. Catch us on the replay. Appreciate you. But I thought well, back to the defense. And I also want to talk about Mikal Bridges, who I thought did a great job on Ja, but also made Ja work when they put, when Ja was defending him. And the Knicks are finally there between Mikal Bridges and OG, where there's nobody you can hide now. These guys are coming through for us. They're hitting shots. They're being aggressive on the offensive end. So it's really hard to hide a player. What did you see last night from Mikal Bridges?
Go ahead, AJ.
Oh, well, we see another player who's getting comfortable in his role with the New York Knicks, right? With this team, and people don't remember. Like, I mean, it's not that we don't remember, but we're impatient. And Queen, I think we've been preaching that the entire, so far, every show. We guys, hold on, chemistry. It takes time for these guys to get comfortable, to get in their skin, for everybody to know their role, to play their role, and to be in the right place at the right time more often than not. And this is what we see happening with Mikal Bridges, right? Some games, I mean, he's steady, on defense. He's playing better defense now, right? Of course, that has to do with the matchup with, whatever team we're playing. But he's given us the points also. He's just getting comfortable. And, in one thing we kind of forget about Mikal Bridges, right? Over the summer, he went through a change where he he's started to learn how to shoot differently. Okay, like a different, the different technique in his shooting motion. Okay, it takes time. These things take time for him to get comfortable to get, and we're seeing the results of all that right now, of what he went through over the summer. Hey, what's up, Geoff? So I have something blocking my screen, so I didn't see the bottom there. Sorry. So yeah,
a good thing. better scenery.
So yeah, I mean, it's another guy getting comfortable in the offense, in the system, in with the team, with his teammates. I expect it to get even better, Queen, as the season goes along.
Yeah.
I expect this to get, we're gonna see more games where Mikal Bridges take over. It's not gonna be Brunson all the time. It's not gonna be Cat all the time. And same thing with the OG Anunoby. There are gonna be some games where OG's the top scorer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Shout out to Keith. Oh, hold on. I wish we could find out who ain't hitting the likes. That's like entering somebody's house without even saying hello. I like that. Shout out to Keith Turner. Definitely hit the like. We got 160 watching. Hit the like or dislike. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It still shows
a thumb. Yeah. Only 32 likes, man. That is ouch.
Yeah.
Hey fam, I gotta cut out. I know I said I had only a few minutes.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, no problem. No problem
anytime,
at all.
bro.
I mean to run you off, Trey.
No, it's all good, man. I just realized it's after 9. I just did a 2-hour show with my guy Maestro. Yeah. So the family's upstairs waiting. So gotta get these kids to bed and all that.
Do your thing, boss. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too.
Thanks, Trey. All right, man.
Salute.
All right. Gotta keep. All right, Geoff. We covered a lot. I was in here doing a whole Thibodeau coaching philosophy thing by myself, trying to hold it down. But just, what did you see yesterday and last night? And then what did you see particularly defensively that you think we can continue?
Well, I don't want to rain on the parade because it was such a fun game, but I'm not sure how much of what we saw last night is going to be translatable. And here's why. They don't run a lot of pick and roll. So the Knicks were able to just stay with their guy and stay attached at the hip. And so I think that was one of the reasons why they were allowed to be a lot stronger in the passing lanes and more disruptive, because there wasn't a lot of having to switch or make a lot of choices defensively. It was pretty much key on your man, and then you have the super arms of OG and the length of Mikal really doing their thing. So hopefully I'm wrong, but I'm not sure that just because we were dominant defensively against Memphis that we're for sure like problem solved. It was certainly the most fun game of the year. It was great to see them absolutely eviscerate a top 5 team. I mean, it was a fantastic performance, but I don't know that this is to say problem solved. We're good, but one thing that I do like is that I think that the 9-man rotation certainly helps.
Why don't you think it's sustainable?
Well, like I said, I'm not sure if it is or not. I'm just saying that Memphis is kind of a unique animal. They don't do a lot of pick and roll. They don't make a defense. Like a lot of it is one-on-one defense and just sticking with your guy. And and the Knicks did a terrific job of that last night, and that gives a lot of teams trouble. But I think where the Knicks struggle is when they get in rotations off of pick and rolls and mismatches and people hunting Jalen Brunson and hunting Cat. And when I think Mikal was great one-on-one point of attack last night. He was fantastic, but I'm just like, I don't want to get too low when we're not playing well, and I don't want to get too high when, this is the cycle we always do, right? We win a couple of really good games. We score back-to-back 143 for the first time since 1965, and all of a sudden we're this unbeatable juggernaut. And then, just the week before, it was the sky is falling, fire the coach, nobody can do anything right, and here you go. So I'm just trying to be measured and say, I think the potential has always been there. And I think it was you who said it. Now we know that they're capable, right? Now we know that they can play defense. So when we don't see the defense, then I think we have more ammo in our gun, so to speak, to criticize. But fantastic performance last night, but I just think we should take a measured approach to the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I agree with that, but I do get the sense that the Knicks are turning the corner. I'm not saying they're not going to have, they're not going to ever lose another game to a bad team or anything like that, but just their mental approach to the game, even the Sacramento game. Like, I'm not even just thinking about the Memphis game, even the Sacramento game, just playing with a different type of energy. Now they're fresh, more players are playing 3 games. They were off for 3 games. That definitely can have, I'm sure, is a factor as well. But I just like what I'm seeing. I just like what I'm seeing, both on the offensive and the defensive, and let's see if that continues. We were up to Mikal Bridges, just in terms of seeing what he was doing defensively and offensively last night. What did you see from him?
He was outstanding. I thought that was his best game as a Knick. I loved his activity. He made Ja's life miserable, and I've never seen a Knick defender really do that. Like, Morant tends to cook when he plays the Knicks, and so I thought that was Bridges' best game in a Knick uniform, and it showed you, as you said before. Hold on, folks. The best is yet to come. That pizza's not out of the oven yet. That cheese isn't fully melted, but when it is, it's going to taste really good. So, I was impressed with Bridges. That's kind of the guy I thought we were getting when we made the trade. And so if we get that moving forward, and OG is just kind of like, we had 7 stocks last night or something crazy like that. Like, that's incredible. And again, I agree with you. I think that we are on an upward swing. We are kind of figuring things out. I'm just saying that I wouldn't take last night's performance on defense and say, bang, the Knicks defense has arrived. We're not going to have any more struggles the rest of the year.
Exactly. No, I definitely agree with that. You know what I'm just noticing in terms of the minutes, but I want to get to, you was asking about stocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, OG had 6 steals and 1 block. Nice. Wow. But you know what? Looking at the minutes, yeah, I don't know if we could think. Okay, so McBride was 23-36. Shamet was 12. Campaign was 16.5. And Precious was 20. But when you look at our starters' minutes, I don't think it's going to ever be this low. OG 33.5. Not happening. Game in and game out. Josh Hart 26.5. Not happening. Game in and game out. Karl Anthony Towns 33. Mikal Bridges 33. Brunson 25.5. So as much as we like the minutes that we got from our bench last night, I don't think they're going to be that high.
Queen, they don't have to be that high. What's also important is when he makes a substitution. Like, you want to give these guys a break. You know what I'm saying? Don't have Josh Hart play like the entire first quarter and no break, and then you let him sit the first 2 minutes in the second quarter, and then have him play the rest of this. You gotta break it up, let these guys get their legs under them before you send them back out. But I have a question for Geoff though. Geoff, so you said yesterday's game was Mikal Bridges probably what you think was his best game as a Knick, better than the Christmas Day game? You think?
Yeah. I thought he was better defensively.
Oh,
he impacted both sides of the court in an elite fashion, in an all-star fashion, and that kind of two-way play. Like, I love buckets as much as the next guy. Yeah, he did a great job, but I thought you felt his presence on both ends of the floor much more in last night's game, and I think that the competition was better, frankly. So, I definitely think that was his finest performance so far as a Knick, but I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah, I think that Christmas Day he carried us though. Like, he won that game for us. I'm not saying which game was better, but I'm saying don't underestimate that game. He won. Like, it's a national TV game, and everybody looking for Victor Wembanyama to do his thing, to beat up on the Knicks, and Mikal Bridges, like, he had a statement game that day. I thought that was pretty big. I'm not saying which game was better.
The Spurs don't really have a backcourt player that really demands the attention of Morant, though, in my opinion. And so I think when you have to play an elite level on both sides of the floor, and you're able to do it the way that he did, I think to me, that speaks more. No disrespect meant to the Spurs and their backcourt. I just think that Morant is just a tougher cover than anybody the Spurs have in their backcourt right now, and that made it where he could focus on bucket getting more. But he did everything, and he had a complete game against the Grizzlies.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about where his defense is now compared to the first, 10, 15 games. Like, it's really been an about face for Mikal Bridges. And Jerrell said Bridges looked like what I meant by him being an X factor for this team. That Bridges fits us perfectly, and it does. You can't hide Trey on Bridges. Like, you can't hide anybody now. I heard somewhere, I don't know where it came from, that OG said that he's going to become more aggressive offensively. He felt like he hadn't been aggressive as of late. Good. Great. I mean, you get 5 Knick players who can score. If you have a weak defender on your team, who are you putting them on? So I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Knicks. Let's see if this defense continues. But the question I had for the chat, some of us believe that the Knicks were championship contenders anyway, just based on the roster. They just hadn't come into their own, so to speak. And there were those Knick fans, some in the chat, just in general, who just didn't think the Knicks were a championship contender, period. And I'm wondering if these 2 games showed at least some of the ceiling of the Knicks. So I guess I'm wondering if that's changed some guys, some chat members or whoever's watching, mind that, you know what? I kind of see, that, they're trending in that direction. So I'm interested. Has anything changed in terms of what you feel about the Knicks, contenders or not, from these past 2 games? Specifically, JJ, Knicks 100, a GM. I think those were the 2 who I felt were really, I wouldn't say down on the Knicks, but weren't sold on the Knicks ceiling. Let's put it that way.
Is JJ calling in?
He can if he want. I believe
the chat have a question for Geoff, so I want to put it up there real quick.
Sure.
No, this is an Abilene Hawks t-shirt, Abilene Hawks basketball. I coached for them. My boys both played for them. Went to the state tournament with them. So I'm on the board for the organization. So I'm repping my homeschool squad.
They want to make sure you're not jumping ship, man. That's all.
No way.
And being bold about it too.
See, it's
I know.
Abilene.
I know.
Abilene.
He up in here talking about the Knicks with a Hawks t-shirt on.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Shout out to Silk Sutton.
All right. I think that's all I got. I mean, I was just,
Let's
a short show. I guess we can get to, let me see if there's anything else.
There's a couple of chats. I could go through them real quick.
Yeah. The bench scoring was 52 to 40, like 52 bench points. Like sometimes it took us like 5 games.
Yeah. I think it's just as important the minutes that they played, and they were productive minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Multiple guys, 4 guys who all had, actual rotation size slice of time on the court, and that's as much to me as important as anything, because I think that keeps the minutes for the starters down a little bit. And if they can, but the reserves have to do what they did the other day, and that's come in, step in, and play their part and keep the lead and keep stepping their necks and keep the pressure on.
Right.
Yeah, it's a two-way. It's a two-way street. I thought the energy from top to bottom was good. Like there'll be games where you see Josh Hart like very energetic, everybody else playing so-so, or 2-3 players super energetic, others so-so. Last night from the tip, everybody was energetic, and I don't think it's all resting as well. I think the Knicks are also aware of this stretch. They're aware that they have the, toughest schedule. I don't know if that's still the case, but I think it is the toughest schedule the rest of the way. I think that they know that this is the time for them to
818-723-3507.
Just give us a minute, caller. That this is the time for them to dig in, and I think that they're pretty motivated. So rested, yes, but I also think motivated. Also, I think that's part of what we're seeing as well. Like there's these teams that's coming in. We got the Lakers. No, we got Denver. Then we got the Lakers. Then we got Houston.
Yeah, I want to talk about those games real quick. Actually, yeah, but after the call, I guess.
The caller, you can call back. I'm ready. Y'all know my condition. I can't just stop in the middle of my point and then pick it up on the other side of a call. That's just not that.
Shout out to Knicks 100. The GM said that's 2 top 10 point guards we shut down back to back.
Listen, if Knicks 100 a GM is giving the Knicks props, then
you know, so that means he's
seeing something. He's seeing something.
I had to highlight that, Queen. Those come rare and far in between. Shout out to Knicks 100 GM. Duras says we can't play at this level every night. We need to get better.
And we will.
And we are, and we have. And we have. And listen, you can lose a game, but you can't just like lay down and like not show up, right? I mean, I'm hoping that party's over for the Knicks.
Yeah. So D Grant says Ja Morant is difficult to stop, so he just had a bad game. Listen, I disagree, and I think East Blue Jules disagree also. Mikal locked him down. Let's give our guy credit, okay? It's not that Ja just had a bad game. He had somebody in his face everywhere he went. Everywhere he turned, there was somebody there waiting for him. So it's not just he had a bad game, all right? It was good defense. It was great defense on our part that slowed him down. I don't want to say lock him down, but we definitely slowed him down. So
yeah, I think like somebody said Ja Morant played, and it felt like that because there were times when I was looking to see if he was on the court.
That's somebody's nostalgic. Did Ja even play? Yeah. So that was a good one.
I mean that we saw the wing stoppers, right? All right.
818-723-3507.
Call from.
Deuce's granddad.
To accept,
Yes.
press 1. To send a voicemail.
Salute, Wiz. How you feeling? What you got for us?
Hey, I got a question. How did the Deuce do okay yesterday? Did he play?
I had it highlighted
He played
here.
Did my
very
grandson
well.
play yesterday?
You know you
It-
saw
it-
the game. He
it's-
played very
He
well.
did he do anything spectacular dumb story thing?
He
Did
did.
he Did he get a poster?
He did.
What
And
I'm
it's about
talking
time. He hasn't
about,
been his
baby.
best self, Wiz. Don't be a front runner. Now you
I know.
calling
I
in.
talked to him. I talked to him yesterday. I
Okay.
told him. I said, "Yo, Geoff is losing faith in you, man. Geoff is losing faith in you, dude. Step it up."
He played very
Great
well.
show, Queen, as always. Amazing panel, brilliant knowledge. Geoff, I kind of disagree a little bit on your take when Queen asked about were there any sustainability as far as our defensive schemes yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there were. I mean, obviously, like you said, we haven't fully turned the corner necessarily, but I think there were attributes about our defense yesterday. I think part of it could be the expanded rotation, so everyone was fresh and applied the pressure. But I think we are intense, high pressure, stick to your man, hands moving, like the cut the lanes off type defense that just keeps people a little bit of chaos. So I think that is part of our defensive strategy.
Right.
There's no rim protectors necessarily. Unfortunately, someone said the other day, I think, we may not need Mitch. We can use him, but I don't know if we need Mitch. So
Now
I
you
know
starting
that's
some ish
some of
now.
you brokenhearted. I know it caused some chaos, some controversy out there, but I like Mitch, but I don't know if we're going to need Mitch if our defense plays with the intensity and those constant, high IQ plays that we do. And so far, Brunson is not a brilliant defensive player, but his IQ is high enough to let him know where to be, how to set up. I think Cat does take off a little bit of intensity on defense to try to preserve his offensive game. And I wonder about his figuring at his 3-point shot going to keep keep people out of the 3-point shot. But I think almost everybody else I can see has the IQ on defense that will take us to the next level if we're going to play a more complicated, high intensity, like I said, almost like a, like all free safety type of game where everybody's a free safety. Take whoever you get, you got. And just simply just keep your hands up, keep stretching, keep your wingspan like you do. Even Deuce's wingspan is really long for his height.
It is.
So keep those wingspans and people will just start to get in trouble. Only a team like maybe Denver when they really have when they really have Joker going really perfectly and try to find passing lanes, may have some chance. But unfortunately, my boy, I just told him yesterday that we have their number and we'll see again tomorrow. But I think East-wise, I think we can take everybody. So, but again, my X factor is always Tom Thibodeau strategically using his players, in-game rotations, mid-game adjustments, and trying to find out all of the ways to attack. And then again, finding the right guys to go out there. Because I think all the way from 1 to 12, we have players who can make an impact in the right circumstance. Situational basketball. That's my take.
Appreciate you calling.
Yeah, man.
Right, Wiz.
Great show, man. You guys keep rolling up. People hit that like button, man. I just get as bad. I want something to me.
That's right. We got 142 watching. I don't know how many likes we got.
Man, let me refresh
Hit the like button.
Oh, man. Exactly. And that kid Deuce, I think he's got a future, man. That's all I gotta say. He got a future.
Yeah. I mean,
All right, people.
yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for the call. Let me get it, Creed. Thank you.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Peace.
Where's back blonde tears when I first started watching content creators. Been around for a minute. Anything else before we get out of here? Do we want to talk a little bit about Denver, or Denver is tomorrow? That's tomorrow.
Yeah, Denver's tomorrow, but Houston. Houston's been on a rampage, man. I mean,
don't look ahead. This is what the Knicks are not focused on Houston right now.
No, I know they're not. That's why I'm not. And you know what, Queen, and before the show, I told you I wanted to talk about the whole month of February, but we could probably do that. No, we could probably do that
Thursday.
On Thursday.
Yeah,
because we got a schedule. February, like every game is important in that month. Every one of them, even because we play the Raptors and Philly in that stretch. I think those games are important too because they're obviously division rivals. We play Celtics twice. We play the Rockets. We play the Pacers. We play the Pacers. Then the next day we play the Hawks. We play the Bulls. We play the Bulls and Cleveland, like 2 revenge games. It's a crazy month, February. The schedule is like the opponents are insane.
Yeah.
So we talking about yesterday was a good test. I think the month of February is going to be a good test. Yeah. That month is going to tell us, like, okay, what kind of team the Knicks are.
Ajay's trying to travel by map and just fast forward through the schedule to the playoffs.
No, I am.
Like we got a month of February, and then we'll go 8-2 in the month of March, and we'll be the 3rd seed. Let's just play Denver.
Yeah. And as somebody said, Denver lost to, I think it was JJ. Denver lost to Chicago, and they may want revenge. So they're gonna come in highly motivated. We're not catching them sleeping by any means. But if the Knicks play with the energy they played with these last 2 games, and if the offense is smoking, we're gonna be fine.
Well, matchup wise, I like Cat when he gets to play someone like the Joker because they're just kind of 2 big bodies. They bang around. He tends to have success when he has that kind of a matchup. Whereas if he's trying to chase around a smaller or quicker player, he might have a little bit more trouble. So from that standpoint, we saw that in the playoffs last year, and I think we saw that in the first game that we played in Denver this year. Right. But yeah, we gonna get all the smoke we can handle tomorrow. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no doubt. Listen, hit that like button, support the channel. Right, that's a free way to support the channel. We have 146 watching. We have 60 likes. So if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you're part of the replay gang, leave a comment. I know I'm a little behind answering the comments. You get a response. You're like, yo, when did I say this? What is this a response to? Like 3 weeks ago. All right, I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna catch up soon. Denver is, I think they're similar to us in this. Their offense is good, top 10, I want to say. No, top 10 for sure. But their defense is what, 17th or something. So kind of similar to the Knicks. Okay, I have it here. Denver, they're 4th in offensive rating, 18th in defensive rating. But their net rating is 7. I'll let you know how good their offense is. That you could have an 18th ranked defense and be 7th in net rating. I'm not sure where the Knicks are now, but coming into the game against Memphis, they were 15th in defensive rating, 2nd in offensive rating with a net rating of 5. This lets you know you got a 15th ranked defense and a net rating of 5. Your offense is smoking. And then the same thing with Denver with an 18th ranked defense. They're 8-2 over there. I mean, these teams are coming in like over the last 10 games with pretty good records. They were 8-2. They lost last night, though, you said, right?
Yeah, they did lose. They lost by 7 or 8 to the
Okay, so they're 7-3 then over their last 10, and they've lost 2 straight. So they're going to be highly motivated, as JJ said. coming in tomorrow, and on the road they're 14-9. So they're over 500 on the road, and then Saturday we got the Lakers. We could talk about that Thursday when we do the weekly show. All right, we'll go through any last things you have for the chat. Last word. We out of here.
Very last word. Okay, because I see David Albaya is like, waving, hey, you guys need to address this Ewing against Cat. So I asked, what about it? And he says this. David Smith says Cat is a better rebounder and that Ewing couldn't shoot threes.
Yeah, and I think the initial conversation was that if Cat was on the 90s Knicks, they would have won a championship. And then someone else said if Patrick was on this team, we win the next 4. So they've been going back and forth in the chat. I will say this: whenever we're talking about errors, like we always want to just take the player from one era and just drop them into this era as if they're not going to take advantage of the nutrition of this era, the weights, the training of this era. Like Larry Bird is going to still be Larry Bird playing in Converses, eating the same food he was eating back then. These guys are going to those guys are going to take advantage of what's available. So Patrick Ewing, what is in this era?
From
Lord Scientist, Brooklyn.
to accept, press 1. To send.
Hello there.
Yo, salute Queen, salute RJ, salute Geoff.
We only have a few minutes. We're ending the show, but I wanted to give you an opportunity, to say what you had to say, but as quickly as you can.
As quickly as I can. Like I said, salute to everybody. Hey, big. Me, and this your boy Lord Scientist. Listen, let us go ahead and knock Denver out like we did earlier in the season. Let us go ahead and punish LeBron on Saturday. I don't know when you're doing your next show because today's Tuesday. So Thursday you're going to do it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So Thursday I'm going to try to call in, but listen, definitely next week. Listen, let us go ahead and be 3-0 for this week. Because what I just saw, well, not saw, but what I was listening to, as far as how we just perform, listen, I feel right now that they're gaining their momentum. I feel like our I's are being dotted and our T's are being crossed. And they're getting in a position where they're realizing their potential. Mm-hmm. And every game is like it's another building block on what Tibbs has been saying from the beginning of the season. Let us go into the All-Star break. Mitch come back. And that'll be the icing on the cake. We'll be the number 2 seed in the West. And we'll punish everything and go to the Eastern Conference Finals. That point, I'm not going to speculate whether we're going to make it to the finals. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you, as a Knicks fan, since 1972, 73, when we won the last championship and I was 2 years old, and seeing the ups and downs over 50 plus years, I'm seeing something extremely special. I'm seeing the defense turn around. I'm seeing them buying into what Tibbs is doing. All them haters that's on Tibbs, y'all need to back up and give Tibbs the chance to breathe and let these boys play the way it seems like their potential is coming into full circle. So that's what I'm going to say on that. And you can end the show, Queen. Salute to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my boy, capital 3 S's. Salute to the DJ, the world's greatest. Salute to my man, Tony Crow, NBK fam, Knicks fan TV, the whole shebang. Let's go, Knicks Nation. Stop hating and picking and choosing these little small minor setbacks and look at where we are at.
Right.
Because we wasn't here 5 years ago. And that's what I got to say. So
appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the call.
Yep. Lord Scientist, Brooklyn. Texas by way of Brooklyn.
As far as this Ewing thing, that's so hard because, first of all, Patrick Ewing was a shot blocker extraordinaire. The defense would be
on this team.
on this team would be otherworldly. Like, and he had great touch out to 18 feet. I mean,
that mid range was insane with Patrick.
So I think, as Queen said, I think he would have developed a 3-point shot because the shot was there. It just wasn't really something that he had to do. Although I think he hit a 3 to beat Boston in the playoffs one time. That was pretty awesome. But maybe I'm crazy. But that's a lost art. Nobody plays post up basketball anymore. But
you would put Cat back there. Listen, he would have had to talk. He would have had to be a little bruiser back there because he would have been playing more in the post than shooting 3-pointers. And Cat has a nice post game, so he would have been fine.
Yeah, he does. He should post up more.
But yeah, it wouldn't have been a lot.
If he could handle the physicality of it, though. Like, he complains about getting calls in this day and age. If he doesn't like it now, if he thinks he gets hit, Ewing was getting murdered every night compared to, and Towns gets a bad whistle. I'll just say that for sure. But
he really does.
But he would have had to toughen up a lot because Patrick went through the wars on a nightly basis.
The thing with Ewing is I don't know what the numbers say, right? But when you was watching the games back then, that mid-range, that 10, 12, 16, it was automatic. Like, when it didn't go in, you're like, how did he miss that? That's, you know what I'm saying? No matter who's on him, like, you expect that to go in because he's literally automatic from that spot.
Yeah. And I think even with Cat on that team, with that Michael Jordan era, it was a wrap. I don't think Cat would have made a difference because we're thinking of Cat spreading the floor, shooting all these 3-pointers. That wasn't the game back then. He would have been right in the post where Patrick Ewing was. Right? So I think it would have been the same thing, not taking anything away from Cat. That's my guy.
Well, I'll say this. If he had a guard like Jalen, I don't know. Like, or he needed another scorer somewhere. So if he had a guard like Jalen, or if he and a healthy Bernard King had ever gotten together, I think it would have been a wrap. I think we would have had multiple championships, Jordan or no Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. We just couldn't find that second scorer for Pat. Yeah.
Kind of like we couldn't find the right pairings with Melo. It's the same deal.
Correct. Yeah, for sure. Melo was a monster, though. I know people talk about how he held the ball, but if we would have put the right team around this guy, yeah, I think we could have got one too.
What would you think about Melo on this squad? With 2 defenders around him, like he has, he could play the 3 or the 4.
Yeah, but then we would be down to just 2 defenders. We'd be down to just 2 defenders now. But yeah, Melo on this team, and Melo was able to dig in defensively when he wanted to. Whenever he played LeBron James, he dug in defensively. Yeah. All right. So shout out to the chat: Paris Duggan, Knicks 100 at GM, JJ, Davis Smith, Darlene Bryan in the house, David Albaya in the house early. Appreciate you.
First one in.
Yeah. David Smith, I probably meant D. Ross. Appreciate you. IKBM Dre, I believe, was in here as well earlier. Appreciate you. Jerrell, family.
Wonder Woman was here early.
Wonder Woman, Kevin Bergen.
David Smith.
All right. Yeah. Let's see. We got 154. Let's see. Let me refresh and see where we are with that. 71.
Yeah, hit that like button at least on the way out.
Yeah, hit the like button on the way out. Any last words before we get out of here?
Hey man, let's tomorrow it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a very interesting game tomorrow. Let's get another win. And
I will retire the Abilene Hawks attire so that we don't offend anybody else. My apologies for being late, and thanks for having me on. And great show as always.
Listen, you can wear whatever you want to wear, as long as it's not an opposing Knicks team. You can wear whatever you want, but I'm telling you, the chat gonna call you out. You're gonna have to explain. Purple and yellow.
Not trying to start no beef.
28 more likes. That's right, to get to
100.
To 100. Listen, Geoff, I appreciate you. Ajay, I appreciate you. Trey for dropping in.
The callers.
The callers, yep. Yep, definitely. Who was that? That was Brooklyn Scientist and Wiz. Yeah, appreciate you too. Jerrell said, or Eagles jersey. Don't even try it.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. I ain't rocking no Eagles.
Oh, Jerrell, please, come on, man. I'm in a good mood, bro. Come on, man.
I would never.
Don't even talk about the Eagles, man.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Anyway, until next time, fam, we appreciate you. Thursday, this is just a pop-up show.
Yeah. We're
still doing the Just Knickin' It weekly show on Thursday. And for the 2 weeks that I'm going to be away, Ajay, Geoff, and whoever else we can get.
Jerrell.
The 2 weeks I'm away, if I can call in, I will. Probably be audio.
Yeah, but the time is crazy.
We'll be here when you get back. You just
it's gonna be 5 hours. I'm gonna be 5 hours ahead of you guys. So yeah.
Nah, you ain't calling. When we start the show, it'd be 2 o'clock in the morning.
Be 2 o'clock. Yeah. I mean, unless I'm still like jet lagged and haven't really settled into Ghana time, I might still be up.
Nah, you're gonna be part of the replay game. You'll be the queen of replay game for the next couple of weeks.
I'm gonna be calling in. We still talking about Thibodeau? The Knicks are on an 8-game winning streak. The defense is coalescing. The bench is helping us, and we still talking about Thibodeau. I don't believe this. All right, I appreciate you all. See you next time.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.